Hi guys, this is Namcraft and welcome back to another series of Starcraft English commentary. Gonna be watching Flash versus some random pro gamers on the internet. This time around, it is gonna be a name that you have heard a long time ago and maybe you're still excited about. It's gonna be, ladies and gentlemen, ForGG, a very interesting, kind of B ranked, Terran player back in the Casper days. I don't really have much fond memories of him. I feel like he's lost more often than he won. But I think it's still him, right? I mean, at least this is what I can fathom from the matches that we've been watching. So this is gonna be ForGG, a Terran player, versus Flash, another Terran player, and the map is going to be Radeon. You can see the map artifact here at the bottom left of the screen, with at the top left corner of the screen in the orange-ish color is gonna be ForGG. And at the bottom right corner of the screen in the yellow color is going to be Flash. So once again, TvT, a kind of dull, boring, chess-like kind of match. Which, if you recall, if you actually follow the chess scene, Magnus Carlsen is playing some speed chess on the platform chess.com. I think today and tomorrow and the entire 7 days from now, I guess. There's a big tournament going on. So if you don't know, speed chess is just a very fast-paced Starcraft-like version of chess, because chess is way too old for people like you and me to kind of watch and enjoy. So you have I think you're familiar with Rapid and Blitz, right? So classical chess is very long. A game can take about 2 hours. Rapid's a little bit faster. Blitz is very fast, and Speed is the fastest. I mean, Speed is like fastest times 16, guys, in StarCraft replays. But anyways, yeah, Radeon, very interesting encounter between these two players. This game is, I'm not so sure how epic it is gonna be. It might be semi-epic. Because I actually haven't seen this. I refrained from watching and telling myself what the result is like. But it looks like we're gonna be having a slight diversion of building locations to be the least here. With ForGG going for an in-base barracks. He's gonna be mining gas out of his 3 SCVs. And Flash is gonna be going for an in-base barracks as well. But now he's gonna be getting ready for, okay, looks like very similar build for both of these players. Looks like ForGG is not making any marine and Flash is making 1 marine. So he's gonna be able to stop his enemy scouting SV. Okay, looks like cross map. No. Looks like ForGG is gonna go towards the bottom right now and Flash is going towards the top left. So complete mirror matchup between these two players. Factory is gonna be going up for both of the players. You can see that Flash's factory is slightly faster here, but no big difference between these two players built, and we're going to be having the SCV coming in. Of course, this SCV will not be deterred on the ramp here, but ForGG SCV is going to be, okay, looks like it's going to be going towards the top right of the screen now. We're going to be having an expansion ready, and this SCV will return. Flash might be able to tell that his enemy kind of, did not make a marine, because maybe the timing of the floating barracks would tell him that. But anyways, now he's gonna be trying to inflict a little bit of damage against his enemies. SCV building the command center, but we're gonna be having the first vulture out coming from both of these players. Very similar, but you can see the timing of the two vultures are exactly the same. And we're gonna be having Flash going for an add-on, whereas his enemy is going to be producing a second vulture here. So just a slight delay of production units for Flash in exchange of a fast attack. We're going to be having a second factory coming down for ForGG. Of course, ForGG doesn't know what his enemy is doing because he was not able to get in these areas here. He might not even know that there was an expansion, of course, as suspected. So he might need to make a few more vultures than his enemies, whereas Flash might be going to faster tanks, guys. Looks like we're going to be having a vulture with speed upgraded for Flash, and for ForGG he's going to be going for army, so just a little bit faster upgrades and maybe to heading towards Goliaths, because in these kinds of TvT situation, then raids is always a big problem, especially in the mid game. We're going to be having 2 vultures coming up from Flash just to scout them out a little bit here. The barracks for both the players are still very far from their intended destinations, so they will not have any kind of usual information for sometimes. We're going to be having what now? So 3 vultures from ForGG. Flash has got 3, not just 2 vultures. The third one's coming out now. A single marine just heading around, looking for things to kill, and we're gonna be seeing looks like the machine shop is gonna upgrade and finish quickly here. We're gonna be having vulture war, but speed upgraded vulture from Flash and slower vultures from ForGG with a a little bit of an exchange for faster Goliaths here. This is an interesting build. This floating barracks is gonna get torn down a little bit here by the Goliaths. The Goliaths are almost there. His own version of the barracks will arrive in time, and it's gonna be just a single marine. That marine will not be able to tear it down for some times. It looks like Flash is gonna be going up to 4 factories. No armories so far. Okay, looks like this barracks is toasted. So at least a slight I don't know. I feel like who's kind of ahead of these kind of situations. Looks like we're going to be having ForGG at 51 supply, Flash is 49, so very similar. But I would say that having this barracks destroyed means slower factory production. But I think Flash has already got his factory up and running. Yeah, 4 factories is kind of good for him to hold for now. He doesn't need to build anything else. And on the other side of the map, looks like ForGG also need to kind of double up on his tank production because Goliaths suck. Goliaths suck unless your enemy goes for raids. But Flash is not going to be going for raids during this time. He's going to be just having a nice map control out here with 7 vultures patrolling the area. Outside area, we're going to be having 4 slow vultures, 4 Goliaths versus 7 upgraded fast vultures here. Looks like we don't see each other's, the two groups of units don't see each other just yet. We're going to be having, all right, let's see what is Flash building. He's going to be going for Academy, and now he's going to be putting up Armory. ForGG has been upgrading a little bit faster, guys. He's been upgrading +1 weapons a little bit faster, so his tanks, when indeed they come out, will have a slight advantage in the battles. But for the timing, just completely mass vultures from both of these players. These kind of vultures are kind of very interesting to watch, but of course they don't lend themselves to kind of big epic, big macro battles. Just a slight attack in a mid-game situation, but nothing major. So I kind of want to see more of more conventional warfare with a lot of full-size units such as tanks and Goliaths. And we're going to be having some mine exploding in the middle map here, but it looks like those mines are clear up. We're going to be having a run-by. This is a very interesting strategy here from Flash because he's got his vulture speed upgraded. Remember that. So he's gonna try to run by, but at the last minute, it looks like ForGG is gonna hold exactly where he is, and he's gonna be backing up. Flash has got 2 tanks now coming out and a couple of vultures. So like I said, this build from ForGG is good, but he's gonna get a little bit delay by with the tank count. He's just making pure vultures, man. He's upgrading +1 weapons, but he doesn't go for anything but Goliaths and vultures, and I feel like that is not a good idea. We have a scan by one of the players. Not so sure who that was. But we're going to be having slight, battles in the middle of the map. These Goliaths are not yet destroyed or damaged. We're going to be having the Goliaths walking right into the tanks. Looks like we have a big engagement here, quasi engagement. And looks like ForGG is going to back up towards the left side of the map a little bit here. He's going to try to lay some mine to delay his enemy tank. But 4 tanks on Flash is very strong. This Goliath's getting chased and they're getting stuck in the middle and getting surrounded and taken off piecemeal here. And this is not looking good for ForGG. These tanks can live for a long time, but at least the minefield from ForGG is going to be able to kind of buy him some time. Yeah, these 4 tanks are just completely power overwhelming here. And finally, we have the tanks coming down from ForGG. He's got only 2 tanks, but his enemy will be able to siege against this base at some point. Behind this Flash. Okay, Flash is going to be going up for an expansion, but slightly later. You can see that ForGG upgrades a little bit better and faster. The tanks now have the they should be having the +1 weapons upgrade completed soon, right? At some point, I guess not. Maybe I was just mistaken there. But we're having a nice mine explosion. That was a good attack and a little bit of careless mistake here by Flash. Flash is going to try to cut off his enemy's 12 o'clock base. But actually, that is not really relevant at this point because ForGG is not expanding there anytime soon. We're going to be having some mine exploding on this side. But we're going to be having vultures denying this base from coming up. He just needs to stop the SCV. And indeed, he does stop the SCV. And he's going to try to run back and try to save and salvage the rest of his vultures for another engagement later. We are at the 9 minute and 16 second of the game. Flash has got 85 supplies, excuse me. ForGG's got 90. The game is, of course, still raging on nicely here. So he's going to try to repair these tanks. These tanks are very expensive. Looks like ForGG is going to try to, go towards the left side of the map here. He walks right to there. Some mines, but they will not be able to stop this, and Flash will need to unsiege and return to his starting position immediately. I guess both the players are attacking their non-relevant sides because this side doesn't have a base for Flash. It's the other side, this side, that has a base here. that he needs to kind of worry about. Looks like both players are going to be saturating their new third bases. More vultures and more tanks reinforcing for ForGG. Let's take a look at the upgrades. I don't think either players have upgrades just yet. Yeah, you can see here the upgrade situation is coming up. ForGG and Flash are both upgrading weapons. +1. We have a surround from the southern side. This is going to be a nice, small kind of siege position here. And look at this, guys. Flash is destroying his enemies, floating what is it, the tanks. And these tanks are kind of not really finding themselves a right position to lay themselves on, and we have a slight attack, and these tanks are gonna hold the positions here. This is not a bad idea. Flash is pushing hard. If you look at the DMZ line, then Flash kind of control about 65% of the map right now, and that's kind of very good for him. But ForGG is not that far behind. I want to check the situation of other techs in both of the players. We're going to be having science facility coming up now for Flash. He's going to be going for raids. He doesn't have an add-on on that what is it, the raid production facility, the starport. Okay, ForGG's got his own version of raids as well, and he will be coming out first here. Looks like we have a kind of a nice round from both sides, and ForGG will take out this group of tanks, and he will take out these tanks as well. What is going to be Flash's response here? He's kind of not really in the know. He's got forces, but they're not in the relevant position to actually do any kind of attack, and suddenly ForGG find himself in a nice position. Looks like Flash is going to back up. He's going to be losing several tanks here. ForGG, we need to pick up the weaker tanks if we kind of find those tanks, and it's going to be a very nice trade for him. But behind this, we're going to be having maybe Goliaths. Yeah, there's going to be Goliaths and counter raid, and he's going to be losing a lot of forces here. Tanks reinforcing from the back. We have a slight raid trade here, and these tanks are so kind of vulnerable in the open area, but we have slight support here from the Goliaths and the raids. So at the last minute, it looks like ForGG is going to be winning this battle, but Flash has got a lot more supply. I wonder how that is coming into existence, because I feel like ForGG has been winning a lot of battles. Maybe Flash has got better economy and better macro overall, or something like that. Yeah, Flash is not, he's dedicating some of his forces to guard his bases as well. He's not actually committing fully in the battles. We're going to be having this race going to push back. So ForGG kind of re-established the DMZ zone a little bit here. He's kind of gaining about 55% of the map. Whereas whereas Flash is kind of getting pushed back here. But other players are taking the expansion, the fourth base, which is going to be very important at this point. Looks like ForGG will have a chance to take his first. Because that base is kind of no longer under siege, and looks like we're going to be having more production buildings coming from both players. Flash finally clears those areas out, and looks like ForGG clears them out. Flash is going to regain a bit of the territory that he ceded in the previous engagements here, and he kind of re-established the DMZ zone here once again across the middle side of the map. This map, Radeon, as you can see, is so open in the middle, so open, so these kind of battles can go on for days. It can go on for days until we get to about maybe 15 to 20 minute mark of the game, where the tank siege and the DMZ zones are relatively fixed. That you would need to kind of resort to starport and to dropship production. So we're going to be having just non-stop raids coming from ForGG. Flash is also making he's making a science vessels now. That is interesting. I feel like in TvT, science vessels don't really have that much relevancy compared to another unit like raid or even dropships. But we shall see. We're going to be having a slight engagement in the middle now. Flash is still ahead a lot by supply, guys, but ForGG is winning the battles. And yeah, I think ForGG is trading a little bit less effectively than Flash. But at least he's going to be to take out these two Goliaths. He's going to back up, and both the players are keeping their side of the map. Flash has gone up to 4 bases, and so is ForGG. We're at the 13-minute mark of the game. Excuse me, a mouse slip from me. And just non-stop production from both of these players. What are the upgrades now for Flash? Let's just quickly check. +1 weapons for Flash, and for ForGG it is going to be +1 weapons as well. Looks like Flash is pushing forward now. ForGG is kind of losing steam in the middle of the map. He kind of has a nice contain here, but Flash is taking the entire top right. He's going to be very careful, ForGG. If he loses his 12 o'clock base, it's going to be just disastrous. He's going to try to come back, and he's going to try to siege this area from the high ground. So it looks like he arrives at just in time, JIT, to hold that base, and he's going to be able to just completely be mining from here. So let's see what is the next strategy from both the players. Anyone going for a dropship would be something that actually we will be not worth pointing out here. We're going to be having just non-stop raids from ForGG. SCV is going to get transferred towards a new base. So Flash is up to 5 bases now. ForGG will also be looking forward to that 5th base at some point. He's kind of cutting the map into half and he's containing his enemy at this choke point. Of course, this early stage of the game, it's not really relevant to actually hold this area because if you get flanked from the other side and you lose some of the bases in exchange, and that's not really good. We have a small engagement here. It looks like Flash is pushing hard against ForGG's 4th base. He's going to be losing the 4th base here. Wow. I thought that ForGG held it with his previous engagement, but he was just very slow to reinforce, and now we're going to be having the Matrix attack, and this area is going to get destroyed. We're going to be having 2 Goliaths on the low ground attacking the raids. It looks like no response whatsoever from ForGG. Any kind of response, he's going to go for the counter-attacking, but Flash has got counterplay. He's got enough forces in position. These raids are getting destroyed one by one. Looks like ForGG not really paying attention. Now he's going to pay attention. If he has cloaked them, it might have been a different story, but he's not cloaking. Anyway, he's going to be having just a little bit of vultures destroying stuff, which is kind of nice. Yeah, these times we will not be able to help this new base. Yeah, SV is going to get destroyed left and right, so a slight base trade. But yeah, losing the 12 o'clock position is a little bit more disastrous for ForGG than losing the 4 o'clock position for Flash, because Flash has got these 2 new bases completely full of SCVs, guys. They've been mining for so long, but the battles are still raging on. You can see after the battles over, both the players are very similar in supply because a lot of SCVs for Flash were wiped out in his 3rd base. But now Flash is gonna regain this area, and ForGG loses his 12 o'clock position. That is really terrible. He's forced to reinforce by ground just slowly here and really poorly. He's gonna try to lay some mine. These tanks, what are they doing? Oh, but that is a nice mine explosion though. So at least at the last minute, Flash is gonna be able to clear out the rest of this forces. Reinforcement coming from the low side from Flash, but ForGG gets on the high ground. He's lost every single SCV on that base though, so it would not happen. And vultures coming up, and they're gonna start to lay some mines now. This is gonna be disastrous. There's nothing to stop this mine from exploding all over the time. We're gonna be having a crazy explosion, and everything got destroyed. And that's nice attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the supply difference. Flash is now 142, ForGG only 91, and Flash is solidly in the lead, guys, with 6 bases. ForGG is down to effectively just 3 bases, even though on paper he's got 5. But some of these bases actually not really mining. And Flash is unrelentless. He comes forward with more tank attack. This base got nothing, just some SCVs come out. So once again, the Terminator got, you know, the killing machine is of course doing really well on the ladders. As of today, I think he's ranked number 8. ForGG is something like 100. So you can already see a slight skill difference here. We're going to be having vultures coming out and taking out SCVs of this less left map, which is going to be the final nail in the coffin. So if you like this cast so far, please feel free to buy me a coffee. The link to that is going to be in the video description, or you can send me money via my Zelle account, namkraftvn@gmail.com. Whatever method works best for you. I appreciate your support. We're going to be returning with more Flash games, more epic Starcraft stuff. You know, today, I guess this weekend I have some time to spare. I'm kind of getting busy these days doing some other things because I need to also, you know, work. But yeah, anyways, the final battle is going to be raging on now. Flash is 170 supply, pushing against ForGG. Final stance here, +2 weapons, +1 armor for Flash's army. ForGG is, yeah, he's going to be mined out in several locations. He's going to try a little bit harder, but he's completely far from winning this game. Okay, he's got a nice counterplay here against the 1 o'clock position. This is gonna be a little bit annoying for Flash to deal with. He's gonna return with some of the raids, some of the Goliaths, and these you know, these raids are toasted. If ForGG doesn't respond immediately, he might lose his raids. 4 butchers get on the high ground and, you know, complete counter attack and getting some revenge time here. Yeah, these raids are very much dead, and looks like ForGG not even responding. Terrible response of him, and he's gonna be GG. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like the cast, feel free to buy me coffee. The link is in the video. See you soon. Bye bye.